Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? Hope everyone is doing well. It is Wednesday, November 19th, your weekly dog update by me. Yeah, for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Jeremy Majors. I'm the head trainer at Majors Academy Dog Training and Rehabilitation out of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we are live on Facebook and Instagram. No, Facebook and YouTube, better yet. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. You are getting cloud pretty soon. What's that mean? Oh, Cloud the dog. Yes. I am getting Cloud. Thank you for your recommendation. I appreciate that. All right. So let me get a little something to drink here before we get started. Okie dokie. All right. Well, first of all, I think I want to talk about German Shepherds. I have a couple of different, well, two German Shepherds right now, and one of which hasn't been here for 3 years. So, the dog hasn't been here for 3 years. I did a board and train with the dog 3 years ago, and the owner is going in for a very intense surgery. Is going to be out for 6 weeks, and basically need someone to care for the dog. So I bring that up because I'm pretty excited to share that um, the owner again has had health issues, but the dog had gotten completely out of control. Back to before the dog was sent to me before. So the owner was telling me that the dog was back to jumping on her, counter surfing, won't let anyone in the house, won't let anyone near the car, this, that, and the third. So there's a couple of things I want to address about that. But first and foremost, I would like to say that I got the dog yesterday, and I am very encouraged to learn that the training is still there, very much so. I mean, this dog fell right back into place. I walked up to the car expecting this dog to, bark his head off at me. No, nothing. Dog kind of looked at me and goes, "Oh crap, back to this place." And I had taken the dog on a walk, and I've socialized him. And let me tell you, folks, it's been 3 years since I trained this dog, but the training is still there, which is very encouraging to me to know that what I do with your dog for 3 weeks sticks for a very long time. I mean, I've never had a dog come back that far. 3 years. I usually have, dogs that come from, I usually have months or a year, but 3 years, it's a good way. It's just good to know that this dog still recognizes that if the environment is correct, if the environment is conducive, then the dog's behavior reflects that, and it adjusts right away. There was nothing that I saw that this dog I was like, oh yeah, this dog needs some intense work here. It's very encouraging. Now we're still going to take the dog through the paces. We're still going to train the dog for these. I told her that I would, um, do our regular board and train protocol for 3 weeks. And then the last 3 weeks, we would just do boarding. And, but yeah, guys. So listen, once you guys get your board and train going, and my clients know, you can always come back and get a refresher, because it holds true that behavior is like water, and water forms to the environment. And whatever you put it in, it's going to go where it can go. And it has to have strong boundaries in order to keep behavior balanced. Your environment has to have strong boundaries long enough to get the dog to understand that. Listen, again, dogs can be happy with the boundaries that you put forth. They just have to make sure that those boundaries are not breakable. They don't bend. They're not inconsistent. Okay. Feel free, guys, to ask any question that you like. Feel free to interrupt me, uh, and we can answer some questions for you. I want to make sure you guys can get your questions in. Okay. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty encouraging, man. Um, as a trainer, you don't know what goes on after you send the dog home. Some people are very good about working with me after, and some people I don't hear from ever again. And you wonder, what's going on after that, because you care about the dog and the families and the everything that involves the training. So it's like I said, it's encouraging. It's awesome to see that the training is always there. I had that suspicion because of the year stuff, but I didn't necessarily know how long. But yeah, now I'm convinced. Once you get the training, once you get that board and train, once you get that foundation, it's still always there. Because even when I call people and the dog hears my voice, some dogs go and lay down on their bed when they hear my voice. Some dogs will just sit once they hear my voice over the phone. Isn't that cool? I think that's pretty cool. So, yeah. All right. A little bit about that German Shepherd. So the German Shepherd in question really has not matured. It's 3 years old. It has a gray muzzle, but it still even looks like a puppy besides the gray on the muzzle. And I think that does have something to do with the lack of education that it has received inside the home. Because you can help a dog mature if you are consistent with the training. You can help a dog mature, and I think that that's pretty important. Now, I follow a lot of psychologists on Instagram, and we got a question. Let's go ahead and handle this question. All right, Nikki. I'm about to ready to drop my pit off at your house to work on my problem child and the things I'm still struggling with. I'm about ready. Bring them. Bring them. What are you struggling with? Let the people know. When you guys ask questions too, just know that it also helps a bunch of people that are struggling with the same things. There's a lot of people that are struggling with similar issues, challenges. And so if you guys ask questions, not only will it help you, but it will help other people that are listening. Barking at the window. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, we can fix that. Barking at the window is a very common issue. Big time. So, okay, listen. I think this is pretty important. All right. So, you guys know, I've said it before. Working with children, working with dogs, very, very, very similar. You need help Oh, I need some help with my dog's leash reactivity. All right. I'll go ahead and go through that first, guys. We'll come back. Let's put this on the board here. All right, Grace. So when it comes to dog reactivity, on leash, let's just talk about the on leash portion first, and then we'll talk about what is the meat and potatoes of the issue. Okay. So what has to happen when the dog is on leash is that you have to make the dog feel safe from your action, from your leadership. The dog needs answers from you. And in order to do that, you must take control of the dog while it's on leash. Because when a dog is on leash, they feel a little bit more vulnerable to dogs, to people, to humans, to cars, bicycles, skateboards, motorcycles, you name it. Anything moving. Sometimes dogs can develop a phobia, I guess, for all those things, for any of those things. Hopefully, not all those things. But you have to make the dog feel safe. And that means you have to take control of the dog while it's on leash. So there can be no pulling. There can be no constant peeing. There can be no constant sniffing. All of that is insecurity, them acting out their insecurity. She's not scared, but she gets so excited. It is scared. It's nervous excitement. It's excitement, but it's still coming from a place of nervousness. And so, again, calmness is what you want because that creates clarity. And so you have to give the dog something to do on walk that's non-negotiable, which would be healing. So the heal command has got to be something you can work on, but you also have to have the right tool. Depending on the dog that you have, if the dog is extra stubborn, you may need a prong collar. If the dog isn't that stubborn, then you may just get away with a slip lead. But it does have to be around the neck. Harnesses are not very productive unless you like the dog to pull. Harnesses are made for pulling. Okay. But what you want to do is work on it at home and not just on the walk outside in the environment, because it may be too much stimulation for a dog. I'm guessing your dog is young. We have to teach the dog to follow you and not the other way around. And so you can start working on, the attitude, the overall attitude of them taking your leadership in the home. See, those two things are not separate. How the dog acts outside of the home is a reflection of how the dog acts inside the home. Now, so obviously the dog's maybe not reacting to dogs inside the home. Maybe they are, but 90% of the time of this dog's life is inside the home with you. So how the dog listens to you inside the home is going to determine how the dog's going to listen to you outside the house. So you will have to tighten up ship inside the house, and then you will see that it's easier to reach them outside of the house. All of the training, it doesn't matter what it is. The leash reactivity is just a reflection of what else is going on inside the home. Rarely, if ever, do you have a dog that acts perfect inside the home and then acts like a fool outside of the home. And let me just define that, because a lot of people are going to say, he acts perfect inside the home. He doesn't do anything inside the home. Okay, well, does he listen to you though? Does he respect you? Does he bother you? Does he follow you around the house? Does he beg for attention? Does he not come when called when he's outside in the backyard? Does he go away when you want him to go away? Does he bombard you at the door when you walk in? Does he jump on you? Does he bark out from outside, or does he bark at things going on inside the home? He said yes, all of the above. Oh man, yeah. So that's where you want to focus your energy on, because that's where you spend the most time anyway. And then you will see that the leash reactivity gets better because the dog has got to trust you. So you see, our responsibility as dog owners is not to be friendly, especially with a young dog. We need to be the teacher. We need to teach what is acceptable and what is not, what is healthy and what is not, what's going to be harmful if we allow. And so we can't allow certain things to go on because we want to be able to take our dog anywhere. I'm pretty sure everyone watching would be okay, would be welcoming of being able to take your dog anywhere where dogs are allowed, instead of leaving them at home because they act like a fool with their pants on the ground. So like, you guys all know and have seen someone out with their dog and being like, wow, that's awesome. And you get to pet and everyone loves the dog. Everyone feels good. And it's very therapeutic for everyone if you have a dog who is just welcoming of attention in a calm way and not pulling their owner, not jumping on people, not barking at people, God forbid, biting. But you have to do the work. That first year, you are going to be like, oh my God, did I make the right decision by getting this dog? And but that's okay. It's the first year. They're crazy. And some dogs are just way too energetic to even be expected to do certain things. It takes a lot of work. What kind of dog do you have, Grace? So yeah, but you gotta work inside the home. You gotta crate train the dog. Crates are good. They're training tools. You need your space. A Carolina dog. Nice. Okay. Well, first thing I would do too with this dog is teach this dog how to behave off leash too. Beautiful, smart, but wild as hell. Yeah, they need productive outlets for energy to get that out. And so that's why I said off leash would be a very good goal for you guys, so that you can take the dog on hikes, so that you could find a nice piece of public land and just run, get that dog going. She needs challenges. She's bored easily. So let's talk about that too for a second, because I see a lot of people here say that it's okay for dogs to be bored. I just saw this about children, that if children are constantly having to do something, are constantly stimulated, they lose sense of self. And I know that to be true about dogs. I say all the time, sometimes your dog needs to do nothing. And in a way, it creates independence and confidence, because they're not always relying on your attention to entertain them. So people always ask me, how can I get my dog to be more confident? Tell them to go away. Okay. Now, this is only after you have given them their needs: exercise, food, water, pee, poop, if you've taken care of their needs, then you can ask for space. It's healthy for them. It's healthy for you. It's awesome. They will also become more curious about things that they are reactive about too. That's the crazy thing. The magic is, if we can ask for space from our dogs, especially the ones who are human reactive, dog reactive, child reactive, all those things. If we tell them, if we have that, if we create that space, that go away space, go lay down, it opens up their willingness to interact positively with all those things that I just mentioned. So, take care of your dog's needs. Take them on a walk. Get them some exercise. After dog daycare, after a nice long walk, after blah, 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 they should leave you alone, especially when you're eating. Make them leave you alone. Don't even allow them to get close to you. Okay, because you're just promoting pushy behavior. I don't care if he's not begging for it. Tell the dog to go away. And it is perfectly healthy for your dog to feel that from you. It's a boundary. So, yeah, Grace, thank you for sharing all that. It's going to help out a lot of folks. All right, guys, those of you who are just joined, feel free to ask any question you like. As many questions as you like. Doesn't matter. All right. Moving along. Let me see how I get this off. Okay. So, yeah, that's that. Okay. Especially for my German Shepherd folks. All right. This is for my German Shepherd folks. There's more. I think it's shepherds in general, but German Shepherds, and I work with at least one of those German Shepherd every single month. And I was doing the math yesterday. I only work with 36 dogs a year. Wait, is it 36? Yeah. Yep, 36. I work with three dogs per month, 12 months out of the year, 36 dogs a year. And I'm like, I love that. I don't want to work with that. I don't want to. I'm big on quality. I don't want to work with a whole bunch of dogs. I'd rather work with 3 dogs per month and be able to really focus, because sometimes even letting dogs out takes a long time, especially if a dog is you're good, especially if a dog is super anxious, right? I have dogs, and let me know if you guys have experienced this. If you have a dog that's like this. I have a dog who anxious in the crate, so they want to come out of the crate. All right. And I don't let dogs out of the crate until I get complete calmness. You want to come out of the crate? I am not allowing you to be anxious to come out, because I do not want to promote anxiety at all. I don't want you to think that your anxiety is going to get you what you want. You're very welcome. Thank you for your questions. Thanks for interacting. Your anxiety, I don't want you to think that your anxiety is going to get what you want. So I let out the calmest dog first. Now, if I see that a dog is being extra anxious, I have rules. And those rules are, you must be sitting or laying down, but you're not going to stand up and stare at me, because then what comes is the whining. And then what comes is the barking. And then what comes is the breaking out of the crate, which I don't want any of that. So I make sure that every dog is calm, preferably laying down. Then I can go back. So like when I walk into my training room, the dogs are like, oh, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, right? Nope. Sit down. Stay calm. And the ones who are patient, which are usually dogs who are usually my dogs, because they know the deal, I let them out. And then I have a seat, or I clean, or I watch TV, or I'm on my cell phone and I'm taking a look back and I'm seeing if the dogs are actually calm or cool, collected. And then I will let the calmest dog out. I will open the door and I'll say, stay. And once they look at me, usually some dogs are like looking forward and like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And I'm like, well, we're not going yet until the dog goes. Because they will if you wait long enough and you don't let them burst out of the crate. They'll look at you. And when they look at you, I think that that's a sign of like, in a way, asking to come out. And that's what I like. So then I let them out. And then I have this one German Shepherd who, as soon as they get out there, they are anxious about coming back in because I don't stand out there with them. I want to train dogs to be okay by themselves in the backyard and not beg to come back inside. And so I'm working on their independence for that reason. I want them to be able to chill outside and not be so anxious, because a lot of dogs are reactive in their backyard. And we can talk about how to get that done. If anyone wants me to, just let me know. But a lot of the time, so I got that German Shepherd who begs to come back inside. Now the same rules apply when coming back inside. I'm not letting you back inside until you're calm. I'm not letting you back inside until you preferably just relax, lay down and chill outside, watch the birds. I've got farm fields in my next to my backyard. There's nothing going on. There's no people. There's just nature. So like, come on, let's get calm, let's get cool, let's get collected. Then I'm gonna let you back in. But it speaks to that German Shepherd like anxiety, like, oh my God, I need to be where my human is. Oh my God. And it's just like, no. Now they're designed that way though, because it does help them with police work. The German Shepherd is a born protector, and they're naturally anxious because it helps them out in their job. So they're always, they're really whiny, hey? And they can become really clingy if you let them. And so you have to kind of be aware of those things before you get a German Shepherd, so that you know that, or they know, and you can actually give them peace of mind. You can actually help them be healthy. You can actually extend their life if you help them become calm on command. Because without any training, a German Shepherd is going to be up your butt. They're going to take control. They're going to not let people inside the house. They're not going to necessarily be friendly with people outside of the people that they live with. They're going to be crazy loyal to the people, to their detriment to the people that they live with. But they're, again, predisposed to take control. You have to recognize that. It's a working dog. It's a working breed. So yeah, the German Shepherd that I have now from Mitlieb Rescue, that's where our area of concentration is I want this dog to become more independent, because it was so reactive to dogs. Insanely reactive. I'm talking, this dog, man, would probably be barking if it, I don't know. It's just, it would just, it is very much so fearful of, and or very anxious about other dogs on leash before it came to me. Now, again, I was going back to what I was talking about before with Grace, is yes, we can work on dog reactivity, and we do. But the big issue is the dog's attachment style to humans. It's a bad relationship. The dog has a perception of how it gets what it wants from a human. So interacting with me, knowing that your assertiveness, your anxiousness isn't going to get you pet, even though the dog is such a sweetheart, it's still, that's how it, it still gets its way by being, it's a big German Shepherd too. So like this dog pushes its way. It's pushy. Um, it's like it's got to be 90 to 100 something pound female too, big girl. So, and size does matter, guys. Let me tell you, size in dogs matter big time. They know when they can take space. They're smart, and they will take the space too. Many of them will go, I am big and I'm taking space, and it's up to you to tell me when to stop, or else I'm just going to continue to take space. When I first got my Great Dane jumped on people. It would sit on my lap, and people like that, and I'm guilty of it. I like it too. I'm not saying that it's the worst thing, but it's just one of those examples of the dog taking space and gladly taking space. And some big dogs will lean on you, and then you step back, and they recognize that. It's just if anybody out there has a dog that does that, or a dog will walk in front of you on leash and constantly cut you off, and you're constantly walking around. All dogs pick up on those little things, okay? And it does matter. And so for my very pushy dogs, I tell the owners not to even allow that to happen. I tell my dog owners not to allow the dog to cut them off, walk right through them. You make them mind your existence, because some of them have to in order to listen anyway. Excuse me. So, it's, again, perfectly healthy. The dogs do it to each other. I've watched dogs interact so much so that it's just more important to speak their language to get the respect that you need. All right, guys, those of you who are just watching, feel free to ask any question you like. It could be about dog reactivity. It could be about leash reactivity. It could be about dog aggression, food aggression, resource aggression, toy aggression, dog fighting, dog barking in the window, whatever. Nikki says, my pit learned that if she looks calm, she gets released. She isn't always calm. Yeah, so that's tricky too. Some dogs. Now here's what a lot of people do, and everyone that comes here, I point that out right away. Everyone does it because the whole treat training crap. All right, most people say good boy, good girl as soon as the butt hits the ground when you tell them to sit. And I'm here to tell you that dogs are smarter than that. That's very low effort. Dogs are much smarter than that. That's like, praising your 7-year-old for, I don't know, saying the ABCs. It's like, they should know that by now. Mine doesn't get a treat or get a good at all. So then you just got to wait. So now I'm not picking on you, Nikki. I'm just letting you know that wasn't aimed at you. It's aimed at most people, though. Yeah, the mistake is you reinforce way too soon. You're not reinforcing the mind. You're reinforcing the action. You're reinforcing the physical act of sitting or laying, or it's just way too soon. Don't. And then and then the dog gets up and you put him back, and you have to. It's like, no, the dog should be praised for the mindset. Wait until the dog is calm before you pet or give treats or release. If the dog is sitting there intently, it's not ready. If the dog is sitting there like this, but it's still sitting, and it's like, where's my treat? Where's my treat? Where's my treat? It's too soon. No. That's why treats are bad. Treats are not good. A lot of people give treats because it makes us feel good, and it does. It feels good, but you gotta reinforce the mind, not the action. You want to enforce, you want to reinforce calmness, and that may take time. That may take you having to forget about it. Sometimes, again, when I'm waiting for these dogs to be let out, and when I'm waiting for them to be calm, I'll just scroll. I'll do my freaking scrolling on my cell phone, and I'll just be scrolling. Look over. You ain't ready yet. And then the dog's like, oh my God, this dude is taking forever. So let me just lay down and chill. Let me forget about it. And then I let them out. You know what I'm saying? So think about that. Apply that and see what you get. You know what I mean? Okay. So we've talked about both of my German Shepherds. I've got an Australian Shepherd that's pretty different in the sense where he's not very excitable. He kind of just exists, and but he what's this say? Nikki says, "Can you discuss the difference in food and how it affects behavior? Do you recommend any specific foods?" Great question. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. First and foremost, everybody look at your ingredients, and I'll go over some things that aren't. Let me pull my stuff up here. That aren't good for dogs. Okay. Let's see. Board and train homework. Here we go. So, when it comes to food, you look at your ingredients, the behind your ingredients, and if they say byproduct on it, then you might want to consider changing food. Byproduct is not good for dogs, and food is it's a little bit of a tough one. So I'll recommend some food. Okay. So starting with dry food recommendations, I don't have a problem with Purina One. I see how the dogs that come here with it. There's poop. The poop is good, and it's relatively cheap. You can get crazy expensive with certain foods, and I don't know that they do the body right. Because again, the proof is in the poop. The proof is in the coat. The proof is in the teeth. Um, the proof is in how the dog acts. And food um, can make a dog more anxious if it's not quality food. Okay. And the other thing is, if your dog is, depending on your dog, excluding working dogs and sport dogs and high energy dogs, after about a year and a half to 2 years, you might want to try feeding your dog once a day, because once a day allows the dog's system to go to a certain level of a fasting state, which is very good for dogs. Most dogs in the wild don't eat for days, and yet they're not out here looking like skeletons. And some of them are pretty healthy. So, you might want to consider that. I do fast my dogs once a week. But if you don't want to do that, what you should do is look for a raw, meaty bone that your dog can consume. Raw means not cooked. Okay, for all my cooked police. They're good for dogs system. And any organ meat, okay, heart, liver, kidneys, brain, tongue, those are like freaking the best for dogs. And you can find the chicken livers at Festival. You can find turkey necks right now because of all the turkeys. Because of Thanksgiving, you can find turkey necks. Turkey necks are really good for dogs. Okay. And then just make sure I'm going to go over a couple of supplements too. So fish oil is great. Probiotics are great. Milk thistle is great. And then, yeah, that's about it. Also, the flea and tick stuff too, guys. I know this ain't flea and tick season yet, but I just came across a doctor that had some really good advice. I don't do any flea and tick medicine, nothing like that, because that stuff is horrible. The ones that they eat are very hard on their kidneys, and the one that's on their back is very toxic for them as well. And collars are just idiotic. But vinegar and water, a mixture of vinegar and water, if you spray on them before you go out into the woods, can very much so help with that issue. And it's obviously a natural thing, but that's about all I do, and I don't really see many ticks at all on my dogs. Okay. Anybody have any questions about anything about that? Let me know. It's yeah, there's a lot of good information out there. There's a lot of conflicting information out there for people too, which is why I think I'm busy. I'm busy because there's so much misinformation out there about how to train a dog, and it ain't that daggum difficult. I mean, there are some tough dogs out there, personality wise. There are some dogs who don't belong in certain homes, and there are certain owners that have no business with certain dogs. So it's all about education, learning what breed is suited for your household, your community environment. Because remember, you're bringing in a new member of the community, and some dogs are terrors of the community. And you don't want to be those people, do you? So anyway, guys, all right, guys, get your final little questions in here. Otherwise we will wrap it up. I don't have much else for you. Let me see if I can think of anything else. No. Oh, this is pretty cool. But my young male has really taken to my two boys, and I send them to go play in the farm field out there, and I send my dog out there with them because it's about 100 yards away from my house, and I love giving them their independence, being able to, they're building forts, they're playing, they're da, 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 da. But I would also like my dog to kind of be there, because that's how I was when I was growing up. I had a Doberman that would follow us around, us kids. I had three brothers that would follow us around the neighborhood and kind of protect us. And it was freaking awesome. It's kind of like a movie. So it's pretty cool to see that my dog Ike has taken that role, and they have, they're just buddies now. He's got a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old to kind of run around and scream with, and they hide, and the dog finds them and stuff like that. So and again, obviously he's totally off leash, but I also had to teach my sons that when you want him to follow you, you don't call him. You just go where you go, and he'll follow you. And even if he does stray away, it's only going to be for a very short amount of time, and he'll come back. They'll find his way back. I always have faith in my dogs. I've never had a dog run away from me. So now pheasant hunting season is starting. Now we're gonna get our dogs get going in pheasant hunting. I got 2 pheasant hunting dogs, and who had that last litter last year. I don't know if I'm gonna do it this year, guys. That stuff is a lot of work. But there's been people that asking for puppies, but I don't know if I'm going to. I would only do once a year, and I would only do it in the spring. Last year we did it in March, so from April, March. Wait, was it March? No, it was from early May to early June, or late April to early June. It was about 8 weeks. So don't know if I'm going to do it again this year, but pretty sure I'm not. But all right, guys. Well, I appreciate all the questions. I appreciate the conversation. Thank you, guys. Please make sure that you like, share, or subscribe if you haven't. It only helps get this message out to people who are struggling, and it gives hope. So I appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. Goodbye.